Good morning everyone. I am Dr. Priyanshi Gupta, Senior Resident from Department of ENT. I am here to talk about facial nerve anatomy. The facial nerve is the nerve of facial expression. The facial nerve is the nerve of the second bronchial arch. It contains motor and somatosensory components. The somatosensory component of the facial nerve is described under the name of the nervus intermedius, pars intermedia of the Risberg. The ingenious pathway of the facial nerve through the middle ear and the mastoid adds to the complexity and the refinement of the middle ear microsurgery. A thorough knowledge of the facial nerve anatomy along with its multiple landmarks is essential for an accurate, safe and effective surgical intervention in the middle ear. Development of the facial nerve. Motor nerve of the facial nerve. Motor root of our facial nerve is independent of the development of the sensory root and the geniculate ganglion. The facial nerve primordium is the first recognized at the 4th week of gestation as a collection of cells at the vicinity of the auditory placode which will generate the otocyst. By the 7th week of the coda tympani nerve is smaller than the facial nerve and remains so until adulthood. In the 7th week, the sensory root of the facial nerve, which is nervus intermedius, arises from the geniculate ganglion and runs between the motor root of the facial nerve and the cochleovestibular nerve on its way to the brainstem. At the same time, the greater petrosal nerve, which is the second branch of the facial nerve to appear, develops from the anterior aspect of the geniculate ganglion. The mesenchyme around the facial nerve develops later into the facial nerve canal. The first cartilaginous analogue of the facial canal derives from the laterohyal. Nuclei of facial nerve. Fibers of the nerve arise from the 4 nuclei situated in lower pons: branchiomotor nucleus, superior salivatory nucleus, lacrimatory nucleus and NTS, nucleus of tractus solitarius. This is a diagram which is showing the various nucleus in our brainstem, which is midbrain, pons and medulla. Originally, the facial nerve passes in a sulcus in the cartilaginous optic capsule. Later, this sulcus ossifies and becomes the bony canal of the facial nerve. At term, about 80% of the tympanic segment of the fallopian canal is ossified. The ossification is almost completed around 3 months after birth. The facial nerve is composed of approximately 10,000 neurons, 7,000 myelinated neurons to form the motor part of the facial nerve that innervates the expression muscles of the face and the stapedial muscle. 3,000 neurons to form the nervus intermedius with secretory and somatosensory components. They include the afferent taste fibers from the coda tympani nerve coming from the anterior 2/3 of the tongue. The afferent taste fibers from the soft palate via the palatine and greater petrosal nerves. The parasympathetic secretory innervations to the submandibular, sublingual and the lacrimal glands. The cutaneous sensory component from afferent fibers originating from the skin of the auricle and postauricular area or Ramsay Hunt area. The facial nerve exits from the brainstem at the pontomedullary junction. It traverses the CP angle and enters the internal auditory canal. It then traverses the temporal bone and a bony canal, which is the fallopian canal, until it reaches the stylomastoid foramen, where it exits the temporal bone and enters the parotid gland. At birth, the facial nerve exits the stylomastoid foramen on the lateral aspect of the skull, just inferior to the tympanic membrane and external ear canal. This makes the facial nerve vulnerable to traumatic injury during difficult delivery. In the second year of life, the growing mastoid process pushes the stylomastoid foramen medially and covers the facial nerve exit. Before the age of 2 years, the retroauricular incision should not be extended inferiorly. Otherwise, the facial nerve could be injured at its exit from the stylomastoid foramen. This is the diagram which is showing the complete path of the facial nerve. This is the second part, the third part and the fourth part. The part where it exits is the stylomastoid foramen. This is the internal auditory canal which is showing. This complete pathway has many ridges and edges. The facial nerve exits at the stylomastoid foramen. This is the styloid process which is behind. Up till 2 years of age, the stylomastoid foramen is quite lateral. Therefore, the incision which is given in the retroauricular area should be more straight and not linear. The CP angle segment, the facial nerve leaves the brainstem at the pontomedullary junction almost 1.5 millimeter anterior to the 8th nerve, which is the vestibulocochlear nerve. The facial nerve then follows a rostrolateral course through the CP cistern for a distance of 17 mm approximately to enter finally the porus of the IAC in the temporal bone. The CPA segment, which is the cerebellopontine angle segment of the facial nerve, is 1.8 mm in diameter and is smaller than the 8th nerve, which is of around 3 mm. This is the contrast where in most of the cases the 8th nerve is the bigger segment. The third smaller nerve, the nervus intermedius, emerges between the facial nerve 7th and the 8th. The internal auditory canal segment of the facial nerve occupies the antero-superior quadrant of the IAC and measures about 8 to 10 mm. It lies superior to the cochlear nerve and it passes above the crista falciformis. A crest of bone, the Bill's bar, hangs in the vertical plane of the IAC between the superior vestibular nerve and the facial nerve. The later brings anterior to the vestibular nerve. This is the Bill's bar and this is the 7th nerve. This is the transverse crest which we can see. This is the cochlear part and this is the 5th nerve. This is the left ear, which is the translabyrinthine approach to the IAC, and this is reflection of the vestibular nerve and the facial nerve. At the bottom of the IAC, the facial nerve enters the fallopian canal. This transit zone between the IAC and the fallopian canal is called the meatal segment and is the narrowest zone of bony facial canal. It is around 0.65 mm in diameter. At this zone, the sheath of the nerve is formed only by a pia mater and an arachnoid membrane because the dural investment terminates at the fundus of the IAC. This segment of the facial nerve is the most common site of entrapment during inflammatory disorders of the facial nerve, such as Bell's palsy and Ramsay-Hunt syndrome. The facial canal or the fallopian aqueduct, the facial nerve enters in a bony canal called the fallopian canal after Gibril fallopius. It is 25 to 30 mm in length. No other nerve in the body travels such a long distance through a bony canal. The fallopian canal is divided into 3 distinct anatomic segments separated by 2 genus. In case of an inflammatory swelling of the facial nerve, such as Bell's palsy, for example, the bony shell around the nerve may lead to a facial nerve compression. A severe facial nerve compression for a long time may result in nerve ischemia, with a resultant worse prognosis for facial paralysis recovery in future. Facial nerve decompression consists of opening the facial canal in the areas of facial nerve inflammation and swelling. The inflammatory segment could be identified by MRI imaging since it enhances strongly after gadolinium injection. The labyrinthine segment is the first segment of the facial nerve. The labyrinthine segment of the facial nerve is 3 to 5 mm long. It is the shortest and the narrowest segment of the fallopian canal. The narrowest part is at its entrance, the meatal segment. It lies beneath the middle cranial fossa and extends from the meatal foramen to the geniculate ganglion. It travels anteriorly, superiorly and laterally, forming an anteromedial angle of 120 degree with the IAC portion. It lies immediately above the anterior part of the vestibule. The basal turn of the cochlea is antero-inferior to the labyrinthine segment and is in close relationship to the fallopian canal. When the nerve reaches a point just lateral and superior to the cochlea, it angles sharply forward, nearly at a right angle to the long axis of the petrous bone, to reach the geniculate ganglion. Before reaching the geniculate ganglion, both the facial nerve and the nervus intermedius remain distinct entities, and they meet each other just before joining the geniculate ganglion. The geniculate ganglion is situated at the lateral end of the labyrinthine segment. The pain fibers of the auricular branch and the taste fibers of the chorda tympani synapse with the second sensory neuron at the level of the geniculate ganglion. The secretomotor fibers to the lacrimal gland passes through the geniculate ganglion and forms a greater petrosal superficial nerve, which is GSPN. At the level of the geniculate ganglion, the facial nerve reaches and takes an abrupt posterior direction, forming an acute angle of 48 to 86 degree between the first and the second segment of the facial nerve. This is the first genu of the facial nerve. The geniculate ganglion is dehiscent in 15% of the temporal bones, a condition which makes the facial nerve vulnerable to injury during the middle cranial fossa surgery. We will be continuing the further course of geniculate ganglion in our next lecture. Thank you.